Ow. Alright guys, for today's video, you guys should know by now my love for cameras. And that's complete sarcasm if you are somehow a new person coming across this video. I absolutely despise all the spyware mass surveillance cameras that are out there. And I've talked about them a lot. I'm still going to have more coming on that. But right now, we're going to address the cameras that I haven't talked about before. And that is all the cameras that are being put inside of new vehicles. They have started in some already, and they are continuing, and they are being mandated. So now's a good time to just kind of start talking about them and see exactly what slippery slope we are standing on for this one. So here we're going to start off with the drive. And in-car cameras are now required in Europe. The US isn't far behind. New cars in Europe must have an advanced driver monitoring system using cameras, sparking privacy concerns, I should say. Slay laws impacting new cars is just going into effect in the European Union as of Wednesday, and it's likely to have some opponents. The bloc is now mandating that every vehicle will come equipped with interior-facing cameras as part of an advanced driver distraction warning system that can monitor when drivers are distracted, drowsy, or otherwise inattentive and alert them to stay focused. Of course, that is what it's going to be used for. Now, I should go ahead and say this. The European Union is like the continental version of California. It's a bunch of morons that get together, that make up stupid laws that affect a bunch of people that don't want to deal with any of their BS. The European Union is like even more insidious than one in California, because in California, at least you have the perceived ability to vote for who represents you, even though you don't. That state is so gerrymandered, like you can't vote for who you actually want. You get who they're going to decide you. But the European Union isn't even that. It is just a collection of bureaucrats from each company that that decides to send a representative to like this little over government for the continent to make up laws that then affect all these sovereign nations on that continent, and those people seem to accept it. Good on you, Britain, for doing Brexit. But that's what the European Union is. All right. Attention money features in cars and nothing new, and plenty serve up periodic reminders of if you've been driving for long periods of time to take a break or even stop for a cup of coffee. But there's a difference between an occasional nudge and a dumb timer, however. And what an advanced driver distraction warning system would do, keeping an eye on you, watch you slipping, okay? Yeah, there are cars that would have like, they've been around for a while, they'd set off like a beep or something, or a timer, or maybe like shake the steering wheel if they had that stuff in there to try to like make sure that you're awake and attentive. Okay. Any reasonable person would appreciate the fellow motorist being more attentive behind the wheel. The real danger is, of course, what happens to the footage once it's preserved, and whether automakers will be careful and clever enough to properly protect it from nefarious actors. So right here, reasonable person. This is a phrase that gets used a lot, and much like safety, it is always used. Reasonable is always a word they use when they want you to try and infringe upon your rights in some way and take rights away from you, introduce more laws like this. They try and say, oh no, these are just reasonable restrictions on something that should otherwise not be restricted. Aren't you a reasonable person? Don't you believe in safety? It's always those same words that are being used, okay? Not to mention, frankly, whether automakers themselves can be trusted with such sensitive data. All about cookies and his own explainer on the situation that anyone concerned should take a look at. Reference New York Times investigation to how car manufacturers like General Motors and Honda have already been caught with their hands in proverbial cookie jar sharing driving score data with brokers who then, in some cases, sold information to insurance companies where it is used to raise consumer rates. Yes, I've mentioned this many times. The GM was taking the OnStar data, which if you haven't disabled OnStar in your car yet, go ahead and do it. I already have a video on that, on how to do it. Check that out. It will vary by car a little bit and by age of car, but you need to disable that. That is a tracking unit in a GM vehicle, but GM was caught by California for selling off their information of drivers that were supposedly only in the elected OnStar smart driving thing or something, selling that data off the LexisNexis and Verisk, and they sold that data off to insurance companies who then raised people's rates on it, okay? It's already been done. It's already going on. Anything else that gives these auto manufacturers more ability to track you in any way is going to be used to spy on you and sell all your data off to make them more money. That is what it is. Again, the most valuable thing on the planet right now is data. Data harvested from people be it through your car, through flock cameras, through your phone, through your computer, through whatever, through your shopping habits at Walmart. It doesn't matter. Data is the most sought after thing right now. That's the reason they're pushing for all these data centers, not for anything good, as a way to monitor everything about you and subjugate you and make money off of you. That is why this stuff is being put into existence. All right, right now, the European Union does not mandate how these systems, now the European Union does mandate that these systems function in a closed loop. That is to say that not sending out data to servers, ensuring everything stays in the vehicle. Yeah, sure, right. But demanding that and actually enforcing it with specific processes are two very different things, and even privacy matters are taken seriously. This is still another example of technological encouragement that is guaranteed to further drive up evil costs at a time when they're already spiraling out of control. Yes, the average thing that I found in the video was like $48,000 is the average new car price. $48,000. Add in more of all this stupid technology, and it just keeps getting more and more and more expensive. And then you add in this technology, it also needs the same components that are running data centers, where they're forcing these things to, is driving up the prices of all that stuff too. Like RAM itself is out of control. You try and buy a new computer now, it's insane. A hard drive, which should cost $20, is now like $1,000 or something. I don't know. All of this is compounding and making everything more expensive. In addition to that rule, the European Union has also required new cars to feature advanced emergency braking systems capable of detecting pedestrians and cyclists, expanding safety glass area to protect pedestrians in accidents, and new tests for worn tires to evaluate safe performance. Okay. The problem with back in 2021, the U.S. Congress passed a bill that would require similar technology, including in-car cameras and new vehicles to combat drunk and impaired driving. Following an extension, the tech is required to be installed in cars beginning next year, meaning 2027. Also the same year as the kill switch. So when this is saying to combat drunk and impaired driving, that means your car will be able to decide whether or not you are fit to drive, and it will cut it off. It will not allow you to start it up. It will probably lock you inside and not allow you to get out.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
And it can be cut off as you're driving down the road. It will be used by law enforcement. If they decide they want to pull you over for some reason, instead of actually giving you a chance to be pulled over, they'll just hit the switch and it'll cut your car off and you can't do anything. None of this is acceptable. None of it is, okay? Problem with that ultimatum is that tech necessary to passively detect signs of intoxication isn't mature enough yet. And in April, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration deemed that none of it was close to ready for commercialization. So Americans might be spared the mandated cabin surveillance for the moment, but the way things are going is only a matter of time before we join our counterparts across the pond. Yes, this technology, there is no guardrails for it. There is no established what it needs to do. It's just a broad outline of this needs to happen, so figure it out. But everything that they have so far does not work, is not compatible, is not, you can't trust on it. All you can trust on it is to encroach on your life in any way, form, or fashion. So that is why it's been pushed off in this country just a little bit, but it is not stopping, okay? So now let's go over to here to Motor Trend, while we're talking about it. And Motor Trend is, this one is more like propaganda to me, okay? How advanced crash avoidance tech will change car safety by 2029. The race to prevent crashes is accelerating with AI, LiDAR, radar, and smarter occupant protection. Okay, I'm going to go out and say this is going to be incredibly unpopular to a lot of people, all right? Ooh, it's thundering. We have, and that may be the Lord telling me I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm saying it anyways. For whatever reason, with modern society, we have gotten to this belief that everybody is worthy of being saved and like living. That's not the case, okay? All throughout time, all throughout evolution, there's this thing called natural selection, to where the dumbest, the most useless of society or whatever, they would end up doing something stupid and die off. Like there was just this guy, side tangent here, that decided that he wanted to stick his finger in Old Faithful geyser at Yellowstone. He slipped, he fell in there, and he was completely just like evaporated, turned to molecules from all the brine and the heat of it, and he is gone. There is nothing left of him. And that's natural selection taking its course because he's a dumbass and how he is no longer around. It should extend to driving and all that stuff. Now, yes, before you say, oh, well, what about innocent people? Yes, innocent people die from certain things happening all the time. Innocent people just walk outside and get struck by lightning, or, you know, they're just driving down a road and a rock slide happens and crushes them or whatever. Yes, innocent people die all the time, okay? But there's too much effort putting into saving everybody when not everybody needs to be saved, okay? If you disagree with that, I don't care. At least I have the balls to say what is true. So, in an effort to try and quote unquote save everybody, they're using safety as a way to increase the more tyrannical controls and monitoring and stuff on everyone's life, because again, it's for safety. And anybody that's quote unquote reasonable would agree that we need to quote unquote save everyone. You see how this works? Okay. As we approach September 2029, compliance deadline for the NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, new FMVS rule number 127, rule mandating new vehicles be capable of detecting other vehicles, objects, and pedestrians, and then providing automatic emergency braking. The agency's updated new car assessment program will reward advanced crash avoidance technologies in hopes of encouraging early adoption, improvement in sensing, especially after dark. Okay, here's two main problems with this. Pedestrian and objects and all this stuff sensing and automatic braking. This may not be an issue for you guys, but if you live in like a big city now or anything like that, you will notice that there's all these dumbasses that are riding these electric scooters or these e-bikes, and they come flying down the road or like down the sidewalk, and they come up to intersections and they don't slow down at all, and they just breeze through it like they own the thing, even if it's not their time to go. We do not need cars that brake for these people. What we need are cars to hit these people and severely injure or remove them from the gene pool. Again, that would be natural selection. We have a group of idiots that are abusing technology, and now it's everyone else's responsibility to keep them from doing it, from getting hurt from their stupid decisions. No, those are people that shouldn't be around in the gene pool anymore. Conversely, added to that, there are groups of kids that will ride their bicycles. At least they're doing, human power, but they will ride them directly at oncoming traffic, popping wheelies and all this shit and trying to get as close to cars or people walking around it. And there's all these videos of these guys crashing into people's cars or people walking and like injuring people, all because they're trying to be cool. Those are yet another group of people that should be hit and obliterated by cars. We do not need cars slowing down for these types of people. We need cars removing these types of people from society and make everything better for everyone. I said it. I don't care if you don't like that. All right? These are not techniques we need, okay? Several novel sensing upgrades were unveiled at the Consumer Electronics Show because, of course, it's electronics, and electronics are taking over everything. Teradar works like radar, but by emitting higher frequency electromagnetic waves, angular resolution, excuse me, which is like point cloud clarity, is said to improve to nearly that of LiDAR at lower hardware costs. Sure, whatever. Microvision is pursuing distance and velocity sensing, frequency modulated continuous wave LiDAR via scantinel silicon phonics printed circuit board approach, dramatically lowers costs. I don't know what any of this means. All I know it is crap that we don't want or need. Okay. Then automatic, the Atomatic then showed off IDAR, which marries inexpensive radar hardware with artificial intelligence to better interpret the vast amount of seeming gibberish arriving back at a unit from signals that may have bounced off multiple surfaces, allowing it to discern, for example, a low reflection human standing next to a highly reflected delivery band. This all leverages radar's lower hardware cost. You know what really works? Opening your friggin' eyes. That works well. We need to stop trying to create all sorts of this technology and hold people to a higher standard. Stop trying to take away the human element out of life, because we are humans. We need to punish the humans that do not take their responsibilities that they have highly enough, and understand that, look, you need to be, if you're going to do this, you still need to be responsible and not injure other people or something like that. We don't need to reward them and their lack of care and attention by just giving them equipment technology that takes care of their responsibility for them. That way they never learn. They never improve, and they have even less responsibility as they go through life. It is not a good idea to dumb everything down for people. We need to raise people up, hold them to a higher standard, okay? Interior sensing is poised to make big leaps forward as well, using better cameras and image processing for driver monitoring, occupant detection, and rear seat reminder tasks. Aptiv just introduced such a system that can determine occupant size, shape, posture, and seatbelt usage, and classify each person by size, type, and tailor the restraint deployment accordingly. No. How about people just strap themselves in and sit correctly? How about that? If they get hurt because they're slouching down or in the wrong area, then maybe they'll learn a lesson to not sit like that anymore. Do you guys see how this is? We should not tailor everything to everybody. Not everything needs to be electronic and one-off for people. No. Things are designed to work a certain way. If people are using them in a way other than design, they deserve to get injured from it. Natural selection. Claims to be first camera system to do so with sufficient fidelity to eliminate all other costly occupant sensors and seats and on seat tracks, whatever. Trying to mix reckons that by adding an infrared dot matrix projector to the camera and sensing its reflections, it can measure heart and respiration rates, secure face authentication, identify seatbelt material, and determine occupant position. These cameras are also expected to play a vital role in whatever driver impairment, the DUI detection and prevention that is from the National Highway Safety thing, the thing that is not even possible with the way things are. None of this is okay. This is now having computers tell you that you are okay, that you're still alive. Hey, we think you should be driving this. Oh, you don't. Oh, hey, look, here you go. Did you just run from an attacker who's trying to murder you in the street and you got your car and you're really trying to get away and escape? Well, our system here has measured your face. You can see we have a face as a sign of distress and your heart rate is elevated and you're breathing heavy. Hey, guess what? Those are also the same sort of things that this detector picks up when someone has been drinking too much. Their face looks different. Their heart rate is elevated, and they're moving kind of funny. So, well, guess what? Now the car's not going to allow you to drive. You're going to sit here, and the guy that's trying to murder you. Oh, guess what? They're going to murder you where you sit, all because a car won't let you go and flee to your safety, even though this is all about your safety. Volvo multi-adaptive safety belts, leverage occupant sensors, and myriad other things. Who cares? Blah 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 blah. Suppliers and OEMs are increasingly focusing on a brief window between prediction of an imminent crash and an actual impact, which in some cases can be a second or more, to tailor suspension height, close windows and sunroofs, and make small adjustments to seating position that can improve kinematics. Improvements in side impact crash prediction could even make Lifetech's pre-crash side airbags viable. The company has a traditional seat-mounted one that deploys in two stages, the first being 200 milliseconds before impact. It also has shown an external side impact airbag that deploys from the vehicle's rocker panel. That's about 10 by 14 foot nylon bags, about 15 inches of valuable crush space during side impact, clearly ensuring against costly false deployments and crucial to be ineffectiveness. I don't even know. Whatever. So it has even more airbags, this time airbags on the outside of the car. They're being picked up by even more sensors that you don't need, that are being put into cars to drive the prices all the way up, to make them unattainable for everybody. None of this stuff should exist. Okay, now let's go over to this, because we're speaking about these cameras here. Did you guys know that Ford has patents out on in-car cameras that will read your lips? Yeah, of course. Why not? And now what is the reason that Ford is trying to say they're doing this? Oh, this is for people that want to take phone calls when they haven't run in convertibles, right? So if you're in a convertible and you got your top down, it's a little bit harder to hear, but we have this microphone and maybe the microphone can't pick up what you're saying. So we're going to have this camera that's going to read your lips as you're only talking on the phone, right? It's only as you're talking on the phone. That is going to take that and then somehow take your audible voice that cannot be heard and then reprocess it into something that can be heard for the person on the other side of the phone. Here's a little thing. That phone call that you're trying to take in your car doesn't need to be taken in your car. It's not important. If it's important, pull over to the side of the goddamn road and take the call. Or it can wait until you get to where you're going. You do not need to have a camera that scans your face, reading your lips and what you're saying. Because guess what? The camera is going to be scanning your face and reading your lips no matter what you say. Not when the phone is on. It's going to be reading your lips the entire time. And guess what it's going to be doing? It's going to be data logging the things that you say. It's going to be storing all that stuff, and it's going to be sharing it with data brokers and all this. Whatever. It's like, let's say, oh, you talk about like, oh man, I'm hungry. What do you want for dinner? I don't know. Let's go get some burger thing or blah, blah, blah. Guess what? You just got a text from McDonald's and Five Guys and whatever all at the same time offering you a coupon to go to their place because the car just read your lips that you were hungry thinking about burgers, and then it sold that information off to through some AI agent that saw what you were doing. That AI agent attached to are being paid by these companies that is then going to take specialized offers and are going to send it to your phone because your phone is tied into the system in the car. So now they're going to be directing ads and all this stuff even more at you based on what you're saying as you're trying to drive down the road in your car. This is unacceptable. Oh. Of course, they're trying to say this is for audible communication and open air convertible, blah, 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 but it is not going to be that at all. It is going to be used to monitor every single thing you say, and it is going to save all that. It is going to sell it off to people that are going to try and sell you products, or it's going to be saved and whatever and used as like law enforcement and stuff like that. Maybe you're driving down the road or whatever, and they have red light cameras at this intersection, even though red light cameras have been ruled unconstitutional multiple times in several areas because there's not actually someone there to see what you're doing. Is just a camera, and a camera cannot be present in a court of law to accuse the person that they said committed the crime. You have the right to face your accuser. But let's say you're driving down the road here and like, oh, there's the red light camera. It's like, I'm going to, I need to get through this light. And you say this, like, I need to get through this light. I'm going to speed up really quick. And you go through it and a red light camera catches you as you just don't quite make it. And then now the camera issues you a ticket, but instead of having to go to court, the car OEM has already sent off the red lips of you saying, oh, I need to speed up to beat this light off to the court stuff, so they can already see this and say, oh, well, see, you admitted this. We have evidence on you admitting that you did this, so now you are for sure going to pay this ticket, and we don't actually have to have anyone present for you to face your accuser because we have you admitting on camera through this lip reading software that you actually committed this crime. You see how that can happen? We are going to this point of 2001: A Space Odyssey, to where these cars and all this shit is going to determine what we can and cannot do.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
What are you talking about, Hal?
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
Okay, now let's hop over here to state of surveillance. Excuse me. Ford wants to scan your face before you drive. Ford's patent would scan your iris and fingerprints, read your lips, and track your emotions. In security and police versions, a vehicle could run faces against a law enforcement database. Ford says it's about safety. Privacy experts say your car could testify against you. So, too long to read here. Ford filed patent number, this one right here, if you want to look it up, for an in-cabin biometrics identification system that scans your face, fingerprints, and irises. Separate Ford patents add lip reading, emotion tracking, and heart rate monitoring, and a related security vehicle filing can cross-reference biometric data against law enforcement databases. The patent went viral after tech commentator Loyal Moses posted a video titled, "It's Not Your Truck Anymore." Ford says it's about safety and stresses these are exploratory filings, not announced products. But this isn't just a Ford problem. GM just paid $12.75 million for secretly selling driver data to insurers, I mentioned earlier. Tesla's cabin cameras now run facial analysis to estimate driver's age. Mozilla tested 25 car brands, and every single one failed their privacy test. Your car is the worst surveillance device you own, and manufacturers are counting on you not noticing. So, your car will then scan all your biometrics, and it says there will be a separate law enforcement version of it. That will not exist. The law enforcement version of it will also, what it will do, and I'm predicting this right friggin' now, it will be tied into the license plate readers that those cars have. It will scan the license plate. That license plate would then pull up information on the car's computer, the cop car's computer, about the car and the person that is driving it. And then that will then tie into the biometrics that is currently being read in that car, because that car is attached to that license plate. The license plate is now scanned by the cop. The cop will look, he'll see the biometrics happening in that car right now. They'll see, oh, there's the elevated heart rate here in this car. Their eyes are getting all shifty, looking back at me. I think they have something to hide. Therefore, now I have probable cause to, quote unquote, probable cause to pull them over and start issuing a citation for something that I will make up that I didn't actually find. Can you guys not see how this is a slippery slope here? We are in a terrible, terrible place to where you will have zero autonomy in living your life. Your vehicle is supposed to be about transportation from point A to point B, and you're supposed to enjoy it as you go. It is not supposed to be a rolling spy box appliance. It is not. This is why everyone needs to go back to analog. Stop buying new vehicles. Stop buying any of this new tech. Stop playing the game. If you have a newer vehicle that has OnStar or TCU or TCM or all this stuff, learn how to disable it and disable it. Push back against all these license plate cameras and this database and this nonstop mass surveillance. We need to stop this stuff from happening, okay? Now let's just go down here. Posted a video breaking down his patent, nearly 6,000 views in 3 days. Scenario is simple. You get in an accident, your truck has logged your biometric data, heart rate elevated, emotional state flagged, and law enforcement subpoenas it. Your insurance company denies the claim based on truck's emotional assessment of you, of your driving, okay? So there's another thing right there. Because of course, you get in an accident, everyone's cool, calm, and collector right there, right? Insurance is the funniest thing here, because you pay insurance for a service, but this is the only service, doesn't matter what the insurance is, but it is the only service that you pay for to use that then actively fights you from using the service that you have paid for. They will go out of their way to find any reason to not pay you what they agreed to pay you for what you are paying them. So anything like this that can happen will be used against you by these companies. All of this stuff ties together, and it will all be used and it will all be shared like it currently already all is. Okay, GM already caught doing it. We discussed that. So did whatever. This here is sickening too. Tesla's cabins are watching you too. Excuse me. Tesla's cabin camera started as a safety feature for monitoring driver attention during autopilot. See, it started as a safety feature, but of course, it got changed. They evolved to something more ambitious. Software update 26.8.6. I can assume that's, was it August 6th, 2026? I don't know. I don't know how this works. But your car should be a mechanical device. Your car should not be getting software updates to function. No, this should not be happening. But this software update introduced facial analysis to estimate driver's age, ostensibly for preventing underage access to full self-driving. Tesla says the camera images do not leave the vehicle unless you enable data sharing. I guarantee you data sharing is already enabled when you get into this car. But the same cameras that began as attention monitoring are now performing facial analysis, and once a camera can read a face, what is allowed to infer becomes a policy choice rather than a hardware limit. Tesla's cabin cameras aren't unique. They're the industry template. So yes, here we go. As I was saying, it started as for safety and has evolved into much, much more than that. It has evolved into being a spyware system, okay? This is the Mozilla thing. I mentioned this in another video. September 2023, Mozilla Foundation tests 25 major car brands for data privacy. The result, every single one failed. All 25 earned Mozilla's privacy not included warning label. Cars became the worst category of products that the foundation had ever reviewed, beating out sex toys, mental health apps, and smart home devices. That is insane. The findings were staggering. 84% of brands said they can share your personal data with service providers, data brokers, and similar entities. 76% said they can sell your personal data. Nissan's privacy policy also admits to collecting sexual activity, health diagnosis, and genetic data from your car. Ford, Toyota, BMW, Kia, and Subaru all reserve the right to collect data, including facial expressions, weight, health information, and where you drive. About 90% of new cars now collect detailed driving information that gets shared with third parties. The data flows through sensors, microphones, cameras, connected phones, car apps, dealership records, and vehicle telematics systems. Ford's new patent isn't an outlier. It's the next logical step in an industry that already treats your car as data collection platform first and a vehicle second. This is what I'm saying. Data is the most valuable currency at the moment. Everybody is trying to make money off of your data, and by doing that, they are encroaching on your privacy. You have zero privacy in a new car from the car itself. I'm not referring to these people that are stupid enough to keep saying you have no expectation of privacy in public. You certainly friggin' do. You do. It has been proven multiple times in the Supreme Court, okay? But you have absolutely no privacy in newer vehicles in your own car unless you actively go and disable all of that stuff in there. And I had a video that just came out that's showing why just pulling a fuse and explaining how that is not enough to disable this stuff, okay? You have to make sure you get rid of all of it. And the way to make sure you really don't have to deal with that at all is to buy older analog vehicles and use those. And yes, there will be pushback from the car manufacturers currently right now that aren't making enough money, and there will be pushback from the government of any various states, local municipalities, or the federal government that is getting special interest money from those OEMs that are going to try and push back and say, hey, these cars that were perfectly fine when they were built and they met all of those safety standards at the time when they were built, they are suddenly all no longer safe enough for what we deem should be on the roads today. And we're going to try everything we can to limit you from using these and prevent this from happening. And you know what needs to happen at that point in time? Everyone needs to collectively tell them to fuck themselves. I have said this multiple times. The only reason laws exist is because we, the citizens, allow them to exist. The government does not control us. The government works for us. We ultimately have final say in everything that is implemented in this country, period. The reason so many things that are bad are implemented in this country now is because we have a giant portion of the population that's apathetic to what is going on, and another large portion of it that has been groomed by government agencies, mainly the CIA, that's not supposed to operate on American soil, but they do all the time with Operation Paperclip and Project Bluebeam and all this stuff that they have done as mass government psyops to control the populace. They push out all this propaganda and all this stuff, and they take over the education system and they control people's minds to get them to think that what they are doing is good and that what they are doing, they have the right and ability to do, even though they don't. So we need to collectively, as the populace of the country, say no more. Enough is enough. Done. We're done with this. Stop playing into this game and it will stop. There is more of us than there are of them. They cannot force you to do anything. Remember that, people. And also on this point of forcing this stuff, we have the freedom and the right to travel in this country. There are so many people that say, oh, driving's just a privilege. No, it isn't. Driving is traveling. It is the most common form of transportation nowadays. When the right to travel was enshrined in the Constitution, people had horses and buggies. The government did not control when and how they could use their own personal horse and buggy to travel to and where from. Okay? The horse and buggy nowadays is the personal automobile. You have a right to travel, and that the government cannot tell you that it is a privilege for you to travel in your own automobile. It does not matter what precedent has been set or how many people bought into that bullshit previously. If all of us say, fuck off, they can't do anything about it. There is more of us than them. You have the right to freely travel, and travel using your vehicle is encompassed in that right. Do not try to argue against that. Push back against any idiot that says otherwise. Okay? All right, guys. This is what I wanted to get in today with this. What you can do right now, disable connected services on Star Ford, pass Tesla's data sharing toggle, turn them off, consumer reports, blah, 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 blah. Turning something off is not enough. You need to disable it completely. Don't connect your phone, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Create data bridges between your phone and your car's telematics system. Use a standalone phone mount instead. Exactly. Stop installing Android Auto and CarPlay and all that stuff in your car. You don't need that. You don't need any of the Bluetooth stuff. No, buy physical media. Get a CD player if you want to listen to stuff. Okay? Actually own something. Read the privacy policy before buying. Good luck reading that. They're so freakishly long, and they're just a bunch of legalese that no one understands. Opt out data broker records. If your data has already been sold, you can request deletion through services like consumer reports, permission slip, or through state programs like California's Delete Act, Connecticut's data broker kill bill switch, or whatever. Buy older. So I'm saying pre-2020 vehicles have fewer connected features and less data collection infrastructure. A 28 truck that just drives is worth more than a 2026 truck that surveils. Exactly. And 2018 is not old enough. Go older if you can. Go back to analog, guys, please. All right. That is all I got for today. Yeah, I wanted to get into this. Just ended up being a lot longer than I thought it would be, because once I get going, I just get going. But yeah, we need to stop this. We need to push back on it. Stop being a puppet. Stop trying to argue for this. Stop all this stuff. And don't bring up, oh, your phone's doing this. This is irrelevant. Irrelevant to this conversation. Phones are its own separate thing, okay? We're being attacked on all fronts. All right? It doesn't matter. We got to fight back from all fronts. All right, guys. That's all I got for today. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.